Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder. For the life of me, I could not figure out why Toyota didn't just name their compact SUV the Hyryder, but I guess they're trying to maintain some kind of connect with the big boss, the Toyota Land Cruiser, especially when Maruti Suzuki has just named their compact SUV the Grand Vitara. Of course, the arrival of these jointly developed twins has been long awaited, and based on what we know about them, there is a lot to be excited about. But with the arrival of the Grand Vitara, we will now be saying goodbye to a car that joins a Tata Hexa, Ford Fiesta, Skoda Yeti, and many others in a long list of India's most underrated cars, the S-Cross. The S-Cross is a very important car for Maruti Suzuki, and one of the main reasons is what it started for the brand, Nexa. That's right, with the introduction of the S-Cross, Maruti Suzuki also kick-started the Nexa range of premium dealerships. And after the original Grand Vitara, the S-Cross was also the first real attempt by the brand at the SUV/crossover space. Here are 2 reasons why it didn't quite meet the sales expectation that people had from it, and 4 reasons why it deserved better. The first problem for the S-Cross was its first impression. While it was put forward as an SUV or a premium crossover, save for some body cladding, it just looked like a big hatchback. And when your price rivals included models like the Renault Duster, the Hyundai Creta, and eventually the Kia Seltos, the low-slung, bulbous design of the S-Cross didn't have the same appeal that a boxy, more rugged and traditional SUV design would get. And yes, Maruti Suzuki did correct course to a large extent with the facelift, but the original 2015 car looked awkward with those bulbous headlights, wheels that not only looked boring but actively looked like wheel covers, and a general design language that would turn no heads. The S-Cross was reasonably feature-loaded at the time it was introduced, but as time progressed and we got model updates on new generation models of rivals arriving, it's found itself losing headline potential. So while the S-Cross's equipment levels remained more or less the same, rivals started offering features like a sunroof or a panoramic sunroof, ambient lighting, ventilated seats, bigger touchscreens, branded sound systems, and a whole lot more, including 6 airbags. In fact, subcompact SUVs, i.e. cars from a segment below, were offering more equipment than the S-Cross itself, and the car sort of found itself lost between these 2 segments. Another issue was the topsy-turvy powertrain range. When the S-Cross was introduced, it was only available with diesel engines and manual transmissions. Eventually, when Maruti decided that they don't want to play with diesels anymore, they replaced it with a decent but nothing special 1.5-litre naturally aspirated petrol and a functional but nothing more 4-speed automatic transmission. And a combination of these 2 variables did the S-Cross in, and while it did manage in certain months sales of about 4,500 to 5,000 units, it spent most of its life doing half that. Contrast that with a rival like the Hyundai Creta that did double those numbers as a minimum, and you see where the problem is. But I maintain that in spite of these 2 factors, the S-Cross deserved better. And here's why. Nope, I'm not high on drugs, my only poison is sweet lassi. But the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross was essentially a slightly larger, slightly more practical, slightly better built and more expensive version of the Vitara Brezza. Heck, the Vitara Brezza, now the Brezza, is based on the S-Cross's Global C platform. They even used the same engines and the same transmissions and shared most of their features list. But what worked for the Vitara Brezza, or the Brezza in general, was its more traditional boxy SUV styling and of course the sub-4 meter car pricing. Given how successful the Vitara Brezza was, it's proof that the S-Cross got its fundamentals right but missed the bus on the garnishing. The S-Cross wasn't just similar to the Vitara Brezza, it was better. Irrespective of what engine option you got it with, the S-Cross was a sweet handler and its ride quality made it a blissful drive on long distance tours. Remember, this car was and still is offered with all-wheel drive and much more powerful engines overseas. And along with the original Grand Vitara, the Vitara Brezza, and a horde of gypsies, the S-Cross also competed at the grueling Raid de Himalaya. That pedigree did make its way to everyday roads. And while its most popular engine was the National Diesel Engine of India, the 1.3-litre multi-jet diesel or MJD, the unicorn was the DDIS 320. The 1.6-litre turbo diesel engine, again made by Fiat, which was imported directly from Italy. Paired with this engine, the S-Cross was an absolutely blissful long-distance tourer. The car would idle at just about 1000 RPM, but wouldn't even do twice that at 100 km an hour in top gear. This engine wouldn't make you smile with just how quickly it got up to 100 km an hour, but how eager it was to accomplish the next 100. There's also an interesting story about the people who bought this particular engine because they had to pay a premium of about rupees 3 lakh compared to the 1.3 diesel, just for the engine and transmission. Imported, remember? Story time. At the dealer end, the price premium for the 1.6-litre engine forced dealers to issue discounts of between 90,000 to 2 lakh. Of course, as you'd imagine, this irked the initial lot of S-Cross 1.6 buyers who did willingly pay up the hefty premium. So, Nexa actually issued checks of up to rupees 1 lakh and threw in additional warranty packages or maintenance packaging to the first lot of S-Cross 1.6 buyers as a gesture of goodwill. Now, we don't need you to write us a check, but if you could hit subscribe if you haven't already, that'd be great. Besides all of this, the S-Cross was and still is a very sensible car. It was big enough to be spacious and practical for the whole family, but not so big that it would become a headache to maneuver in tight city lanes. At the same time, it wasn't very feature loaded, but if you didn't care about novelty features, you could have a fully loaded S-Cross for about the same price as a one above base Creta. And you could also get a better crash safety rating while you're at it. Of course, we are excited about the arrival of the Grand Vitara, a car that will make up for a lot of the drawbacks that the S-Cross had. And of course, that was a function of the S-Cross becoming an aging product. But as we say goodbye to this car, we have to say that most of the memories will be fond. So finally, what are your thoughts on the S-Cross? Did you by chance choose to buy an S-Cross when you were maybe pushed towards another model? And what do you make of that decision today? Let us know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you did not like this video, give it a dislike. Let us know you did not like it. I don't care what YouTube says about dislike, thumbs up. We are fine. Just let us know. But if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it on WhatsApp, email, pigeon mail, whatever it is. Share it across and hit subscribe if you have not already. Thanks a ton for watching.